The morning sun had only just begun to warm the narrow streets of Eastwood when Amara Johnson stepped out of her mother's small apartment, clutching her worn-out backpack. The neighborhood smelled faintly of fried chicken and car exhaust, the two scents mingling in the air like memories that refused to fade. Eastwood was one of those places that didn't exist on postcards or tourism brochures, a part of town people pretended not to see. But to Amara, this was home. The cracked sidewalks where she learned to ride her bike, the graffiti-covered walls that whispered stories of resilience, and the old sycamore tree by the playground that had been there longer than any of the buildings. Amara was 16, tall for her age, with a deep brown complexion that glowed like polished mahogany in the sun. Her hair, a soft crown of coiled curls, framed her face in a halo that made her look both fierce and fragile. She had her mother's eyes, dark, wide, and full of unspoken questions. Her mother, Evelyn Johnson, worked 2 jobs, one at the hospital as a night janitor and another at a diner during weekends. Amara rarely saw her except late at night when Evelyn returned home, tired but still smiling. Her mother would whisper prayers over her daughter's head, prayers that smelled faintly of bleach and hope. That morning, Amara was nervous. It was her first day at Northfield High, a mostly white school across town. She had earned a scholarship through a diversity program, something the principal had proudly announced as a step toward inclusion. To Amara, it felt more like walking into a storm unarmed. Her old school in Eastwood had been poor, underfunded, and crowded, but at least everyone there looked like her. They shared the same slang, the same music, the same silent understanding that the world saw them differently. But now, she would be stepping into hallways where her brown skin would be the first thing everyone noticed. As she waited for the bus, Amara looked at her. The day the results came out, Amara was in the library, half distracted by her homework and half dreaming about the future. When Mrs. Beckett appeared in the doorway, clutching a folded letter and grinning like someone who had just won the lottery, Amara knew something had changed. "Amara Johnson," the teacher said breathlessly, "you won the state essay competition." For a second, the words didn't register. It felt too big, too unreal. But when the meaning sank in, Amara's heart pounded so hard she thought everyone in the library could hear it. I did," she whispered. Mrs. Beckett nodded, tears bright in her eyes. "You did, sweetheart. The judges said your essay was raw, powerful, and necessary. They want you to read it at the state conference next month." For a moment, Amara just stood there, a girl from Eastwood, a name people had whispered behind closed doors, now being asked to speak before hundreds. She smiled, but beneath that smile was fear of not being enough, fear of saying too much, fear that her truth might not fit into the tidy boxes people wanted to keep it in. At home, Evelyn could barely contain her pride. She hugged Amara so tightly the girl could hardly breathe. "You see, baby," she said, tears slipping down her cheeks. "They tried to make you small, but you were made to stand tall." The news spread quickly. The local paper published an article titled "Teen from Eastwood Wins State Essay Contest," with a picture of Amara smiling nervously in front of her school. Online, her story began circulating. Some celebrated her, others criticized her. The comments section told its own tale. Finally, a voice that matters. This is what America needs. Of course she won. It's trendy to give awards to minorities these days. Amara stopped reading after the third comment. In the weeks leading up to the conference, she practiced her speech every night, standing in front of the mirror with trembling hands. Lily helped her rehearse. Spring arrived softly in Eastwood, painting the cracked sidewalks with dandelions and rain puddles. The air smelled of new beginnings, faint but real, like a promise whispered by the wind. Amara Johnson was now a senior at Northfield High, months away from graduation. She had grown taller, stronger, and quieter in a way that spoke of wisdom more than weariness. The months after her Diversity Week speech had been a blur. Colleges had started reaching out, some out of genuine admiration, others, she suspected, for the representation she brought. She'd received an invitation to write for a national teen magazine, been interviewed for a podcast about student activism, and had her essay republished online, where it was shared thousands of times. But for Amara, the fame didn't mean much. What mattered were the messages she got from students around the country. "I read your essay. I feel seen. Your words made me brave enough to speak up. I thought I was alone. I'm not anymore." Each message was a spark, a reminder that words could build bridges across worlds. Still, life at Northfield wasn't perfect. The stares hadn't disappeared, only softened. Some teachers still expected her to speak for all Black people in every discussion about race. Some students still joked too comfortably about things that weren't funny. But Amara had learned to choose her battles, not out of fear, but out of strength. One afternoon, she stood by the lockers when a freshman, a shy black girl with braids, approached her. "You're Amara, right?" the girl asked timidly. "Yeah," Amara smiled. "What's your name?" "Keisha. I just wanted to say, it's easier being here because of you." Amara blinked, her heart swelling. "You don't even know how much that means to me," she said softly. When Keisha walked away, Amara realized something profound. She had become what she once needed, a reflection of courage in a place that made her feel small. As graduation drew closer, Northfield